And good evening, Eagle fans, and welcome out to Brocato's on a Wednesday night. It is the Eagles Nest Coaches Show where we gather on Wednesday nights and talk about the past week. We talk to a couple of the players and coaches that are on here and somebody from the school that lets us know about what's going on around the campus as well. And then we'll look ahead as district play gets going. We are here on 446 Sports. Big shout out to the folks at Brocato's, breakfast and lunch and catering, and of course 3 Potato More that those two got together and said, yeah, we want to do this, come do it out here. And I couldn't be more excited about that. Joined, of course, by the head man himself, David Perkins. Coach, congratulations on a big game.
Absolutely. The Squirrel Bowl is a big deal for a lot of people,
Right.
in our community, also in the Buckeye community. And a lot of people come out. It's a Thursday night game, so not much going on in town that night. So we get to see other schools come out, and it was just great that we could put on a good performance and get the dub.
We're going to dive into that game here in just a bit. Of course, we've got our Southern Air Cool Play of the Game to talk about, our Express Pros Lineman of the Week, and we'll award our Sabine Stake Player of the Game, game ball that will be here tonight. But as I'm looking out, Coach, you guys have the Bishop Bowl trophy this year. You've got the Squirrel Bowl trophy now, and that you've so graciously brought that out here. That's 2 trophies on the season now. That's a great start.
Absolutely. We let 2 of them slip out of our hands last season, so it was just one of many goals that we have this year to win the Squirrel Bowl and the Bishop's Bowl. And just proud to say that we've won both of those and got them back to our Holy Savior Menard office so everybody can check them out when they walk in. So just proud to have them.
There you go. I do want to take this time to bring in the voice of the Menard Eagles, Robert Anderson. Robert joins us here. And, Robert, you were on that call of that big Squirrel Bowl win on Thursday night. Tell us a little bit about your perspective of it.
We talked about, turnovers, and we were able to capitalize on those turnovers, not only with 3 points, but I'm talking we were able to cash in touchdowns. And, we got those, and Matthew Hicks with another interception. So we had a lot of those turnovers, and we converted them into points. And that helped us get the ball rolling.
Absolutely. There's many different ways to win in football,
That's right.
And so turnovers is probably the number one thing up there. And we were able to get some, and then we were able to turn them into touchdowns. Getting field goals versus getting touchdowns is a big, big difference. So obviously we want the 6 points after those things happen. And, it also gives you a boost of energy whenever you're able to get those turnovers. So turnovers are a big part of winning and losing.
Yeah, and they were big hits, a lot of those turnovers we forced, and it was a great night to be an Eagle.
Absolutely, and I think senior Jacob Janice, one of our best outside linebackers, I think he got on 2 of those. So, he has a nose for the ball. We can cause those fumbles, but, we got to get on them too. So we practice those things. We tell them, we want to pull that thing out of there, especially if we get somebody kind of stood up a little bit and we got a couple guys on them. We got another guy going there trying to strip it out of there, but we got to get on the ball.
That's right.
Look, Coach, we talked about it beforehand, about coming out and supporting these kids, and that was on full display. The community showed out for that. Of course, you talked about it being on a Thursday night. But what does that mean to not only yourselves, but these young men that are out there working all through the summer to put out this effort to see the community and the fans responding to that?
Yeah, it means a lot to us. These guys deserve to have a showcase game. Showcase their talents. They've got a lot of talent this year, not just the seniors, but it trickles on down to the juniors, sophomores, and the freshmen. Some of these freshmen are getting an opportunity to get on the field, which is a grand opportunity for them. But you're right. The community likes to see our guys play and play at their best, and we're glad that everybody got to come and watch that, and we were able to put on a good performance.
You don't often see a lot of the local teams playing each other. You do it. I mean, back in the day, of course, everybody played everybody. They don't do that. But it's great of course it's great for the gate, but it's great for community awareness because these guys grow up together playing.
And it makes for a tough game. It usually makes for a good physical game. Everybody knows each other. The coaches know each other. You're playing JV games. You're playing freshman games, and not just that year, but the previous years. It's you're watching film and you're just saying, well, I can watch this year's film and I can watch last year's film, and it's just about the same, depending on who the coach is. But but you're right. When the 2 communities get together that are real close together, everybody shows up. It makes for a fantastic atmosphere. You want to play in good atmospheres when you're playing football, and I'm glad these guys got that opportunity. Same way when we played in the Bishop's Bowl. So and we were able to get the W's out of that, which makes it a whole lot better.
Look, yeah, big crowd's great, but a dub it goes a long way as well. So the last few weeks, you guys have started fast. You've jumped out to big leads, and it's been one that you've held on to. You gave up the kick return a week ago on there, but you grinded it out and hung on to it. So what was it like to come out and get a big start and then just never let up?
Well, in the last few years, we've preached the defense, and we've gotten these low-scoring games. So we've got a different type of offense where we think we can score the points. So we're going to put the ball in those offensive stars' hands. And, this past Thursday night, they showed off. They really did, and showed their talents and showed that we can throw the ball around the field. We can also line up and run the ball. We can get in a closed formation and run it, and we're running it, and we can still do it. And then we can get you spread out a little bit. Maybe a little man-to-man, and we can hurt you there too.
Coach, it was just a matter of time before Aiden Moran, just broke loose. And I'm sitting on the call, and I said, sooner or later, he's fixing to break one. And you just felt it. You saw it. It was just, he was getting the ball. He was getting his 3 or 4 or 5. Sooner or later, he was fixing to pop that one for, 25 or 30 yards. And I was so glad to see him coming off that big injury from last year, to have that breakout game, which he's done it really 2 weeks in a row down at Abbeville, and really had a good one Friday night.
You're right, and I'm so proud of him and glad of him. He worked his tail off over the off season. Like you said, he had the bad ACL tear last year. So he had to rehab for many, many months, and then we had to kind of protect him there for a while we were getting in pads, but he's come through, man, and I'm going to tell you something. He's almost at 500 yards through 5 games, so he's on a 1,000-yard pace. But, man, he gets tough yards, and y'all have seen that. And he hits the holes, and if it's not a hole, he's still hitting it hard. And I expect him to break a couple more, and maybe even longer ones than the one the other night.
And most of his between the tackles, tough yards.
Exactly, and that's the way we block it. He's got to kind of make himself a little bit small, but he's got to hit it hard. And it's easy for me to say, but it's not easy to do because you got to take some punishment while you're doing it. But you can wear people down, man.
One of the things that jumps out at that statement, Coach, is the success that Aiden is having running the football, because a lot of the work that you guys did over the summer was opening up the offense a little bit too. But I think, and I know that those two things go so hand in hand, of the pass opening up the run and the run opening up the pass. And these two this season complement each other so well for the Eagles.
And you can preach that and you can say that, but when it's actually happening, it's so much better. And number 3, our quarterback, Jake, and we've talked about that over and over and over. Now it's happening. If we can run the ball, we should be able to pass the ball.
Yep.
If we can pass the ball, we should be able to run the ball. And with Jake being a dual threat guy, he can either throw it, he can pass it, get us out of the troubles. If we don't have something down the field, he can get the first down on third down, which he's done a lot this year, and he can get those tough yards. And he's also really good at running the ball in the red zone.
Look, when you've got a weapon like that, it makes it difficult on you, because you do have his abilities there. Because if you come up and guard the line, there's Matthew Hicks that's going to go win any jump ball that's out there. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So defenses can't just stack the box on you, or they can't drop off and cover, because it doesn't have to be Aiden. It can be Jake.
Absolutely. And, with those weapons, and you mentioned Matthew, you can throw it. We almost would like you to come up and blitz and play him man-to-man. He's that type of receiver. But we also have to counter him. You've got Cutter Knowles on the other side, number 10. He's a smaller player, but he's a quick player, and he's fast. And kind of helps you do something a little bit different. I know Matthew, it kind of stands out, but you got to get Matthew involved. And then Zach Dozart, who we haven't used a whole lot this year, he's extremely quick too, but you've seen him in the last couple days, in the couple games, getting a little bit more involved, and you'll probably see that a little bit more down the line. So if Jake's using all those guys and all those things are happening and working with Aiden and then with Jake, you should have a successful offense.
Look, and by the way, your defense slows your shutout for you again. So just great work. We're going to talk about some of the players that stood out on us. We're going to take our first break of the evening. When we come back, we'll have our Express Pros Lineman of the Week. We'll have our Sabine State Bank Player of the Game, and we'll do our Southern Air cool play of the game. We'll do all of that. Also coming up, don't forget we're going to get visited by the student council tonight.
Yep.
We'll talk about all things going on because
a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's homecoming week as well.
It is.
So there's a lot going on. If there's another trophy we're loading up with the trophies.
Bring your trophies.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You are watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show live from Brocato's right here on 446 Sports.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
When it comes to celebrating big moments, BK Distributors has you covered. From eye-catching fathead decals and senior banners, to custom cutouts that bring your favorite faces to life, we help make memories larger than life. Cheer loud and proud with hand fans and personalized signs, or honor achievements with awards and trophies that shine just as bright as the people who earn them. Whether it's for your school, your team, your business, or your community, BK Distributors delivers quality, creativity, and service you can trust. BK Distributors, where every moment deserves to stand out.
And back to Brocato's on a Wednesday night. Welcome out to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show. I am Doug Gann alongside of Robert Anderson and, of course, head coach David Perkins. And, Coach, off to a big 4-1 start, and it's because of players that everybody that's on the team. But we like to go and highlight and honor three of them each night on here. And the first thing that we like to do is our Southern Air cool play of the game. We came up with that probably 2 or 3 years ago, and we thank our folks at Southern Air that will help us mention one of those. And this is just something in the game. It didn't necessarily have to be the winning touchdown or whatever it is, but it's just a really cool play. And Robert, take us through that play.
Well, from when I saw it, right at the beginning, I said, this is a cool play. And then I got to look at it from the intercut, and it was even more cool. But we talked about cool. He froze the defense, and he spun all the way around, and he was all by himself for that first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, and it is a cool play.
Right.
And he talked about he spun all around, and it's called the spin.
Just for those that didn't hear the part of it, too, take us through. So it's Jake Vaughn that orchestrates this on there, too. So it's a quarterback run is what this was.
Yeah, it's a quarterback run, and he'll have Aiden Morin right beside him, and then you have a slot on by the tackle over there, and then when the ball snaps, he's going to fake it. And he's going to spin, but he's going to fake it to Aiden, and then the other guy's going to come around. He's going to fake it to him.
Right.
And then by that time, he's turned a complete circle, and then we've blocked it a certain way where he's going to hit the point of attack, kind of in the A gap, which is right there by the center. And he'll hit it right there. And usually if those linebackers split a little bit, which they probably will if they're reading, and he'll split those guys. And he'll hit it. And you don't see it much, and so it's really, you don't expect it. And it's hard to defend, and so you got to take time on it. You got to really see it to be able to defend it.
It looks like something out of one of the veer offenses that you see a lot of, too, that the quarterback's making that decision, but it's not really a decision on there, too, but it's deceptive. And you said these linebackers are schooled to read their keys.
Right.
And the keys tell them something different, that opens it up for you. So it was a great call, but very good execution.
Absolutely, and Jake executed it perfectly. You know, we were talking off camera a while ago that it takes a lot of reps to get it down because you've got to have complete chemistry within that to make it work, and it's got to work in conjunction with those offensive linemen, and because there's a little bit of a delay for them, but if it's done right, it makes it really difficult.
Well, that is our Southern Air cool play of the game. It came around the 36-minute mark. We've got it chopped up. We'll post all of these things tonight after we get off the air. And Express Pro is another one of those from the community that jumps on board with what we are doing. And they said, look, ours is a blue-collar type of an award. We want to recognize one of the hard-working offensive or defensive linemen because oftentimes they don't get called unless something's wrong.
Exactly.
On there, unless you've got a play that gets them out of the backfield and you dump one out, the old refrigerator style of run. But they don't get a lot of that.
One of those.
But Kate Tassan stood out in our. So tell us about him.
So he's an all-district player from last year. So he's one of those guys on the line that did make all-district first team. So he's kind of he's smart. He's got like a 3.8 maybe 3.8 GPA.
Right.
So he's very smart. So he's kind of the leader of that offensive line. He can tell guys exactly who to block if they need to know. But Kay's a great player, and he's also just a great teammate, man. And so. Just glad to have him, and he's one of those another senior guys that we depend on. I know we talk a lot about our skill guys, but our offensive line, it's 42-0. Those offensive linemen got to be doing something right, and then they're opening up those holes for Aiden Moran and for Jake to run through. So they've got big stats. The offensive linemen got to be doing their job.
Look, in the first segment, we talked about. It was the run opening the pass opening up the run. Nothing gets opened if that offensive line isn't doing their job.
And they do a lot of work at practice. And I'm going to tell you guys, they're almost doing offensive work the whole practice. They're doing first-team offense, and then they're doing the scout squad. And I know, they were doing it today. They're doing the scout squad defense when the first defense is out there. So it's going to be a lot of one-on-ones just about the whole practice. It's made the defensive line better. It's made the offensive line better. And the defensive line is a bunch of young guys, and the offensive line is a bunch of experienced guys. And when you got that mixture right there, man, it just makes both better.
Well, there you go. They are doing that and getting better and better each week. There's no doubt about that. Again, we told you, sitting at 4-1 on the season. District play opens up next week. It's homecoming. We'll talk about all of that here in just a bit. But we have our Sabine State Bank player of the game that we want to give away. And Coach, again, the choices when they're getting tougher and tougher, that's what you like. That means there are a lot of people standing out. But Robert came to us and talked about it, and you've agreement on there too about this week's player of the game.
Absolutely. We just talked about him a while ago, and he grinds it out, and we're hoping that if he can get a couple of those big runs, he could get up into the thousands as far as the yardage go. But that's going to be our running back, Aiden Moran. He's going to be the player of the game.
Well, congratulations to Aiden Moran. He is the Sabine State Bank player of the game, and we'll go ahead and get Aiden up here. And I think you were going to get.
I know he's here somewhere.
He's in the back eating is what it seems like. So. And you see you had one other that we were going to bring up as well in this segment.
Yeah, we're going to bring up Mr. Briggs, Brosar.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get them up. Robert, we'll let you swap out real quick, and we'll visit with these couple of guys. There's nothing like a little live TV. It's hard getting away from those chicken strips. I think that may be a little bit of the problem.
It looks good out there too, don't it?
Look, it does. It really does.
Here comes Aiden right here.
Now, you stay. Yeah, we'll do this. And we'll present him our Sabine State Bank Player of the Game award. So
stay too.
Congratulations. You guys go and have a seat. Congratulations on a great week. You stay and they'll stay, and they'll sit down on that end of it there. There we go. Nothing like getting settled in on the fly. Here we go. Coach, tell us a little bit more now about put the headsets on. And go ahead and introduce us to him again.
Okay, over here you go. We got Briggs Broussard. You had his twin on here last week.
Right.
He plays on. We're talking about the offensive line. He plays mostly on the offensive line, but he'll play defensive line also. Guard, tackle, whatever we may need him to be.
He's big enough he can play both.
Yeah, and so we can stick him in here anytime on both. And then this is Aiden Moran. He's our running back. tailback. That's what I would call him, but he's our running back, and he was the cool player of the game.
There you go, our Sabine State Bank player of the game. That's right. So, guys, it's been a great season so far, 4-1 in non-district, and I think if you look at the schedule, of course, yes, you want to be undefeated going into it, but you look at it, 4-1, I think you'd register that we'll take that because it includes the Bishop Bowl and it includes the Squirrel Bowl. So, your thoughts on the first half of the season, Hayden?
I think we're doing great. I think we need to step it up, keep getting better, because our games are just going to keep getting harder, and I think, honestly, if we keep doing that, then we can live up to Mike's expectation and end up being 9-1, possibly with a first-round bye in the playoffs, and just set up good to go deep in the playoffs.
Look, indeed, Briggs as well. The offensive line has just been solid all season long on there. Tell me a little bit about the cohesion and camaraderie with that offensive group.
We have a great chemistry together. We know what we're doing, and we're good at protecting the quarterback.
Look, it's a solid one back
there.
They
better protect the quarterback.
Indeed, they had, but it looked like that you guys have been able and have gotten stronger each week. You know, there was that. I guess it was week 2 that people were sick and out and all that. But since then, looks like you've gotten better and better and better each week.
We have.
What is it, Aiden, when you're able to run behind a line like that? You're not having to question, are they going to do something? You know when the play is called that it's going to be executed.
It's definitely a good feeling, you know. I mean, I trust them, and if a play doesn't go the way it's supposed to, or, you know, one of them makes a mess up, I just keep my composure and make sure that they keep theirs so the way none of us get in our head, and we just kind of help each other out, and I just trust those guys and thank them for everything they do.
You know, that's one of that's such a good point that you bring up too, is that trust level that's on there. You guys have played a lot of football together through the years. This is not just a first-year thing. I mean, most of you being seniors there, you've had a lot of battles and a lot of wars that you fought together.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Coach, the growth that you've seen out of this senior class, I know you light up when we talk about them, but tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, of course, I was talking to some coaches today about it's just fun to watch the development of these players because, you know, we get them as most of them as junior hires, you know. Right. So if we get them in the 7th grade, we got them for 6 years. So it's just fun to watch how they develop, how their bodies grow, how their mind grows, and just how their skills grow. And it's great to watch. And it's great. You go back and see how it was like their 7th grade year up to now their senior year, you know. And these guys still talk about when they're in junior high.
Right.
And when they played in junior high, they still remember those games, and they remember the success they had in the junior high, and then they brought that over to the high school. But, you know, I wanted Aiden to kind of talk a little bit about I know he missed most of last year, right, you know, with a big injury, and I just wanted him to kind of tell everybody how that motivated him this year for his senior season, being out all last year. How'd that motivate you for this season?
It was really just a lot of built-up anticipation, and, you know, even the games that I couldn't play and whatnot, I mean, I was watching them on 446 right, and just keeping up with them when I couldn't be there. And, you know, like coming into the season, that's all I was really focused on, is just what can I do better to grow and come back stronger than what I was before. And at the beginning of the season, I honestly, I was kind of scared right, and just of it happening again. But now, I mean, we're rolling. I feel like I'm doing my job on offense, and
I think one of the things that's been beneficial to you is that it doesn't have to just be on you. They're not all eyes on you. With Jake, what he's doing back there, quarterback, the receiving core that you've got, there are a lot of weapons, and it allows you to go out there and do what you want to do.
Yes, sir, for sure. That's a very great feeling, knowing that we have other people or other athletes, and they're all very great players. Like Jake, I mean, I wouldn't want anyone else to play beside.
Right. Look, that's great. So this season, again, has been special. You've had the Bishop Bowl victory. You got this trophy, the squirrel. No,
you had a hard time getting trophy out of your mouth.
Well, because I'm right here by the squirrels behind. This is what I'm looking at the entire time. Y'all are looking at this squirrel's face, and I'm not. So let's just
looking at the plaque.
I'm looking at the plaque side of it there. And you roll right into homecoming this week. How do you guys stay focused and concentrate on what is really the task at hand?
Just don't let the distractions get to us. We just got to lock them out and focus on our game.
Briggs, talk a little bit about we were talking about practice a while ago. Talk a little bit about the intensity of practice with the offensive line and the defensive line almost going against each other the whole practice, whether we're scout or whether we're first team, and we just flip it around. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh, the intensity's been great. We just try our best to give each other a look, make each other better, and make the offense better, make the defense better, and that's all you can ask for at practice.
And what happens if we're not going full speed? Who do we get? Who's usually telling us we got to do that over? Come on, you gotta give Coach Jay a shout out, right?
Yeah, Coach Jay, you definitely let us know if we're going.
Absolutely.
So the one good thing about you having to think about it and get cued on that is it must not happen a lot. You guys must be going good on good the entire way.
Yeah, we have.
So look, that's what I'll take. Well, Aiden, congratulations on Player of the Game. We think that was a tremendous job and look forward to many more of those. But you are our Sabine State Player of the Game. And Briggs, thank you for stopping by and joining us. Love what you guys are doing this year. Looking forward to that district play opening up on Friday night. Absolutely. Guys, don't go anywhere. When we come back, it is that special time of the night where we bring in somebody from the school, and we've got a special double dip for you. We're going to talk to 4 members of the Student Council. We'll find out what's going on around the school. We'll do all of that when we come back. You're watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show right here from Brocato's on 446 Sports.
At Louisiana Athletic Club, we believe in keeping fitness affordable. We're proud to offer the most extensive fitness options in the area, all at an unbeatable price. From group fitness and childcare to heated pool and family-friendly amenities in 2 convenient locations, we've got everything you need to stay fit and active as a family. Join Louisiana Athletic Club today, where quality fitness meets affordable pricing and everyone can thrive. Find your fit at louisianaathleticClub.com.
And we're back to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show. It is that time of the night. Halftime, we like to call it. It's where we visit with some folks from around the school. And we've got 2 members of the Student Council in this segment. We'll have 2 more members of the Student Council as well. But take this opportunity to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Maddie Roy, and I'm the Student Body President.
Okay.
I'm Emily Wolf, and I'm the Student Body Vice President.
There you go. So for those that don't know, what does Student Council do around the school?
Well, we're in charge of homecoming week, so we plan the theme and all of the theme days.
Right.
And we take care of court and then other things later in the year.
Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of organizing. I would say that's the biggest thing. We do like a lot of daily stuff too. We do announcements, and so we do a lot of behind the scenes.
Well, how was the preparation? How long have you been working on the homecoming festivities?
Since May.
Yeah. What goes into that? What kind of a committee or what do you do that says, okay, this theme's going to be cool, and then somebody else like, that theme's not cool? Do you have any of that, or does everybody just go, sure, that's great?
I think that we have an equal demonstration of working together while still listening to each other's different ideas.
Look, that is such a great student council answer, but I mean, it's got to get frustrating sometimes. No?
My council works pretty well together.
That's what I'm talking about.
And there are a few disagreements, but we always work through it in a proper way.
But isn't that what prepares you for life? I mean, it's going to be that way on there. What's your favorite theme of the week, of homecoming week?
I'm really excited for tomorrow, which is Eris Day, because Executive Student Council has something really cool planned, and we can't wait to show the school.
Oh, and you're not going to break the news tonight.
I'm not.
You're going to. All right. So what about yours? What was your favorite day?
I have to agree. We have a really good idea for tomorrow.
You know, that makes it difficult on the show because I won't be there. And now, I've got all of this excitement, and now I don't know what the day is going to be.
Well, you'll be able to find out because on the HSM Student Council Instagram page at the end of the week, we'll be posting outfit of the days from every week. So we're interviewing students around the school who have really good ideas and really good outfits. and we might be on there.
Look, that's the one thing that I think I found is so cool, is that there's so much involvement from everybody around the school. Everybody seems like they participate in something. Is that one of the things that y'all are kind of helping do to make sure that everybody's involved?
Definitely. I think this year one of our biggest focuses as a council has just been including everybody and getting everybody spirited. And I can tell throughout the theme days that we have had way more participation than we have in the past. And I think that's because of the hard work that not only executive has done, but student council as a whole. And I think that is one thing that's really helped our culture this year.
So you're saying that, this is where I'm leading you into this answer, you're saying that this is the best student council there's ever been?
Definitely.
It wasn't even that difficult of a question, was it? All right, aside from all of that, let's have a memory while because you're both seniors, right?
I'm a senior, she's a junior.
You're a junior. Oh, and by the way, a junior that just had a birthday today, is that right?
Yes, sir, I'm 17.
17 years old today. So it would be really cool if everybody in here would sing happy birthday to you. Wouldn't that be cool? The only thing is I can't start it. You're going to have to, because as much as I use my voice to do a lot of things, I'm not doing that. So will you start it for us?
Yes,
all right,
sir.
well, there you go. So we need participation out of everybody to do this. All right, go ahead.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Emily. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, Maddie.
I don't think that could have went any better than if we would have planned that before now. So, yeah, congratulations on the birthday. Congratulations on a great week. I know I don't want to cut this short time, but we've got 2 more members that we're going to talk to on there. Y'all are amazing. So now you said you're a junior.
Yes, sir.
So are you in your senior on here, so do you automatically pass the torch or as president, or do you have to run again, or what's the process there?
So typically that is the process, but I also think that everything's earned. And so I really think this year I'm trying to prove myself that I am ready to take up that torch, because I don't think that I should just be given that role.
Look, I love that answer. So now what happens when next year's student council is the best student council ever, when this year's student council was the best ever, right?
Well, our goal as student council is to grow every year. So even though I won't be here, I'll still be proud as the people who are going to be there, and I hope that they're great.
You have such amazing answers. That is tremendous. Look, ladies, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you taking time. Did y'all get some food?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did you get that big birthday cake that your dad said he had?
I did not.
I don't know. We'll have to. I don't know. He's not thinking about that. Anyway, happy birthday to you as well. Thank you for sitting in with us. We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout. When we come back, you'll see white shirts instead of yellow shirts. This is the Eagles Nest Coaches Show right here on 446 Sports. And we are back to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show. And I told you, look, this is just like a magic show, I guess. The yellow shirts disappeared and the white shirts are here. What's the difference in the shirts? Tell us about that. Well, no, don't tell us about that yet. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Darren Crow. I'm the Executive Student Council Secretary.
Okay.
My name is Emma Brocato, and I'm the Executive Parliamentarian.
There you go. Look, I love it. All right, now. Tell us the difference between the white sweatshirts and the yellow shirts. Is there a difference, or is it just one sweatshirt and one's?
One's just a sweatshirt, the other's a t-shirt. They all have the same stuff.
There it is, okay.
And look, we have the initials of Michael Thomas on the back, because he was a part of student council too.
I just absolutely love it. So we talked a little bit earlier about it too. Let's. What grade are you guys in?
I'm a senior.
I'm a junior.
Okay. All right. So what has been your experience? How long have you been on the student council?
I joined the student council my junior year, so this is only my second year on student council.
Okay.
I joined student council in 7th grade.
Wow. What do you take out of this and being part of that? What is the meaning behind all of it, and what it means to you to be a part of what you're doing for student life?
To me, student council is just stepping up in front of my school and in front of my peers and just making an example of myself and showing how I like to serve my school.
There you go.
It just has a big community. It makes us all one, and I really enjoy that. Yeah.
Tell me about Friday nights. Now, this one is special, of course, for homecoming on there, so I want to talk a little bit about that, but the experience of an Eagle Friday night.
So I'm on dance line, so it's really fun to be able to dance and cheer on the Eagles because this year we've been doing really good. And he's on drum corps, so it's also really fun.
You were here on the show, I
Yes,
believe,
sir.
in one of the weeks too. So what is that type of I mean, I know. I guess you wear your uniforms during the day, and do they let y'all do that? You don't do that anymore. Okay.
No, sir.
What
No,
is
sir.
what is your day like, and from the pep rally on to the game, and just that type of experience as a student, not necessarily dance line or drum?
I'd say Friday nights are pretty busy, pretty spirited as a school. After our pep rallies, I feel like the whole school is just very excited to get out on that field and cheer on our Eagles.
There you go. And your experience, too, from that.
It's really fun to see everyone how much fun they have during the game because it just shows how we are as like a school because we're all one. And yeah.
All right, so you had your theme days we talked about, and they told us about their favorites, but they wouldn't give us any
Oh yeah,
insight.
tomorrow's really good.
But
Decades
you're still
Day.
not going to tell me.
I'm not going to tell you.
What if we turn the camera off and we're still not?
No.
Okay.
can't.
What about your favorite day?
My favorite day was Monday, which was Tea Party dress-up day. Because
it was what day?
Tea Party.
Okay, I got you. Tell me about that then.
So me, Madeline Roy, our president, and one of my other friends, Chris, dressed up as the Boston Tea Party.
Nice.
No one else did it.
We're the only other people in the school doing
Yeah.
it. So
It was really funny.
So, I guess you set this theme for the entire school.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And it's just who?
It was just me, our president, Maddie, and my friend Chris.
So what happened to the rest of the school?
We were all
They were
Tea
dressed
Party.
up in regular Tea Party attire.
They were Boston Tea Party though.
I got you. So you're. Look, that's the pictures of everything that I need to see. I just think
Yeah.
I
They
think
had
that's
tea
great. So
bags.
everybody was the Tea Party, and you were the one. Look,
Yeah.
that's just great. Homecoming is a special week. There's no doubt about it. Friday night's going to be there. You guys have had a great season so far. The football team with the Bishop Bowl, that was a big
Yes.
win. The Squirrel Bowl. How was that last Thursday night?
So much fun. I was so excited because last year was kind of a disappointment, but this year was amazing. I was so excited.
It's pretty pinkalicious.
All righty then. So, what about the trophy?
I love it.
I think it's so cool. I didn't see it until tonight.
I'm so glad we have it.
There you have it. Guys, thank y'all so much for stopping by. We appreciate the work that you do. Before you get out of here, when you're looking to the camera and anybody that's watching on here too, why should they be a part of Student Council?
Because it's so much fun and you get to lead your school community.
It's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun.
There you
Go
have it.
Student Council, go Eagles.
There you got it. Don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk to a couple of the coaches here tonight. We'll do all of that. You're watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show. Had a lot of fun on Student Council night, I promise you that. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. You're watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show on 446 Sports.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. As the #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S., they offer the versatility and reliability to get the job done right all year round. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available or save up to $6,000.
Find a dealer near you at LouisianaKubotaDealers.com.
Hi, this is Robin with Little Cakes with Big Attitude, and I have some exciting news. Fall is finally here, and that means our amazing fall flavors are ready to go, hot, iced, or frozen. Delight your taste buds with flavors like spiced caramel apple, cinnamon roll, maple pecan, s'mores, and of course, pumpkin spice latte. And just when we thought fall couldn't get any better, we were voted Sinlaw's Choice for Best Bakery and Best Dessert. Little Cakes with Big Attitude in Alexandria or our Pineville location. Stop by today.
All right, we're back to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show tonight here at Brocato's Restaurant, and sponsored by 3 Potato More. Tonight we got 2 of the coaches. Tonight we got Justin Foltz and Coach Julio Ortiz. Welcome, coaches, and glad y'all are here with us tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Justin, tell us a little about. You've got a long history of this school right here. I mean, you go back. This is the start of your days. It was right here.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I'm a class of 1987 graduate. I actually coached and taught at Menard for a few years in the 90s, and went back to coach with Freddie Hallman in 2011 as a CCP coach. Left in 18 and then came back last year.
And you've had some daughters that have come through Menard, and I followed them, softball, and I guess did they do basketball? But I know softball for sure.
Yeah, they all played softball, and then Maddie was on the dance team as well.
And then you also had a daughter that got some name recognition here not long ago with the concerning the floods over, on the other side of Austin too.
Yeah, she was in the Camp Mystic flood. Fortunately, she survived. Very sad situation over there, but. We're just glad we got her home.
We're all glad, she had a great foundation as far as, knowing what to do, and, and it all comes back to where she was, how she was grown up. And so feel proud for that, Coach.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm proud of her.
I know we are. Coach Julio Ortiz, our offensive coordinator. Coach, we're 4-1 right now. And, we talked earlier up during the year, and we talked football. And, so I'm so proud of you coming from as a Bolton Bear growing up as a left-handed pitcher over at Bolton, and here we are at at Menard. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, before that, let me tell Justin, because he's banging on my Bears lately, and I'm like, those aren't the Bears in Bolton High School. That's Bolton Academy.
I got to admit, Julio's teams are really very good. So and the teams I played against in the '80s were really, really good. Of course, they were in our district then.
Class of 96, 1996. Obviously, played football and baseball through high school, played college ball, and also a little professional baseball. And I was fortunate enough to be able to come here to Menard in 2007, and the rest is pretty much history.
And Coach, you did play baseball at Oklahoma. Did you sign originally with Oklahoma State?
Yes,
with
sir.
Oklahoma State, the up in Stillwater, the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
So I still follow these kids, to this day, and it's great having you here. And Coach Ortiz, you teach Spanish here, is that right?
Yes.
And tell us, how is it teaching Spanish in such a French-based, we're almost in the down south with a lot of French influence, but you're up here teaching Spanish as well.
That's right. It's one of these things where if you notice, Spanish is probably the second most spoken language here in the States. So obviously more and more students are starting to gravitate towards it, and it's just something that I enjoy doing.
Well, great, and I know the kids love having you here. I know you're a mentor to them.
Right.
I've heard from a lot of them. So tell us about this Eagles offense here this year.
Well, it's with the struggles we had a little bit last year and some injuries, we had a lot of players that were playing for the first time. And what better way to get experience than playing on Friday nights? So I could definitely attest that to them going through the season last year and the struggles, and putting the work in during the off season and the summer and getting themselves prepared for this season.
And Coach Fultz, you coach linebackers and running backs, is that right?
Yeah, about 90% of my time I'm with the linebackers. That's what I've always coached, really outside linebackers. We changed it up a little bit this year. Coach Sam kind of running the defense for us and handling defensive backs, and I've assumed the role of taking on inside linebackers as well. So we got a really good group of guys, so it's really easy for me.
You know, and those guys, you know, the linebackers we see, you know, we see them coming off the edge, and, you know, and these guys are not afraid to, you know, to lay the wood on, you know.
Yeah, I think we were looking. Jacob Janice was actually leading Division III in total tackles, and I think probably around 9 or 10 in all classifications. And, you know, it's really impressive because he's on one side of the football field. You know, usually that's a middle linebacker that has those stats. But, you know, I got two great guys on the edge, Jacob Janice and Jack Simpson, and those guys haven't, you know, they've been starters for a number of years. So, you know, it's very easy to coach guys like that. T. Sam in the middle, and Hayden Kidd's doing a very good job for us in the middle.
We got four good ones, you know, and I can always with Simpson, you know, his cleats. So I always remember his cleats, those pink cleats. So I know where he's at all times.
Exactly.
And you know, and he, you know, he'll lay the wood to you as well. So you probably taught him a little bit of that, Coach.
Those guys aren't really big, but I'm gonna tell you, they stand out on a Friday night. I tell those guys, please, just, you know, just stand out. Have people in the stands go, golly, who's that guy? You know, so they're really good hitters. You know, they're really good tacklers, and they're you know, they play their positions well. They don't get out of position, and you know, that's kind of what we teach, is just do your job and let everybody else do their job so the defense doesn't break down.
And a lot of attacking too, you know,
that's
coming
right.
off that edge.
We're blitzing a lot more this year, I think, than we did last year. We see some opportunities, and you know, those guys, they do a good job at it, and you know, it's, you know, the secondary really has to pay attention to that as well, because if we're sending one guy and they don't make the tackle, then you've got more responsibility as a safety and a corner as well, and the middle linebackers have more responsibility too. So, you know, a lot more communication this year, I think, and it's worked out well for us.
Well, Coach Ortiz, you know, the offense, you know, we're going to watch, you know, a team like Oakdale come Friday night. So will you see things on film, you know, like, you know, for the previous 5 weeks to maybe we may change something up, you know?
Yeah, you know, every week we've got a little bit details that we change up. I mean, we don't want to compromise what we're doing.
Right.
We're still going to continue to do what we do, but we make slight adjustments, Coach Redmond and myself, and go in the game plan, you know, knowing that we're going to run the stuff we run, just make tweaks here and there.
As far as, you know, I know you've been watching a lot of film. Is a lot of film done up here at the school now, or is a lot of it done?
Well, you know, on Saturdays we spend a lot of time watching film, and then as a coaching staff we meet on Sundays, come up with a game plan, and obviously Monday is install day. So, you know, my downtime when I'm not teaching, I'm watching film.
So your hobby during football season is football.
Yes.
You know, I remember an old coach you know, whenever he was over at Pineville, he was asking all the assistant coaches, first thing he would ask them was, what is your hobby? And they said, oh, I'm a hunter, I'm a fisherman. And he came right up and said, football is my hobby.
That's right.
You know, and that's Absolutely. Really what, you know, from between not August, but, you know, all summer, right. It's just, you know, it's day to day, because you want to make these kids better. And, you know, you got to put in the time you got to put in the time.
You know, and it's funny you bring up the summer, because the way we see things, we've got 8 weeks during the summer to get our guys bigger, faster, and stronger. And you'd be surprised how quick those 8 weeks go by.
Yeah, and it does go by, because right now we're going into week 6.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do in a month? Because I won't have Wednesday nights at Brocato's. Right. And, you know, what am I going to do on Friday nights? Whatever, you know, and so you're like, man, it's flown by, especially for these seniors, because, you know, they have, you know, maybe 2 months at the most, right. You know, left in their, you know, high school career. And so hopefully they make the most out of, you know, every snap, you know, and make memories, you know, for the rest of their lives. And Coach, you know, Justin, you're the oldest of, I guess you're a little bit older than me, and you feel for these kids, you know, about this time of year.
Well, and I've told them numerous times every year that, you know, God only gives you so many plays, and, you know, make the most out of them, and it just flies by. You don't get a chance to go back and do this over in life, and every day of practice, every game, I mean, you got to make the most of it. Some of these guys may go on to the next level. Most of them won't.
Right.
So, you have no regrets and play your tail off and just make the most of every play.
And Justin, I'm gonna throw another name out there back in great, Menard coaches, that have been around the program for like a long time, and I see him sometimes on Wednesday night supper. Was one of your coaches was Robin Becker.
Oh yeah, Coach Becker. Yeah. So, I mean, we all love him. We, these guys coached with him a long time and taught with him a long time, and I mean, he's a legend at Menard High School. Probably the favorite teacher, and coach of all time. I was fortunate to play for Coach Mahfouz his last 2 years when he came back, and we love him as well. But like I said, let me turn this off. Coach Becker, like I said, he's a legend, and I loved coaching with him, and those guys loved coaching with him. We had a really good staff back in there. That's the thing about this staff. We have a really close staff here, and golly, we had a really great staff with Freddie in those days, and Joel and then Coach Gatlin.
And I want to throw out another name is Coach Ragsdale. What the legacy that Coach Ragsdale built, for this school.
Coach Sam Brocato and I were talking about Coach Ragsdale today, and I was fortunate to play for those guys, and I was fortunate to coach with Coach Ragsdale in the 90s as well as Coach Becker. And I tell you, they're legends at Menard High School and always will be.
And I'm, even though I grew up on the other side of the river, I still knew, you always looked up to those coaches because they're teaching you a lot more than the X's and O's. They're teaching you about life.
That's right.
And I always try to preach that, teaching you things that you're learning on that field, that you're teaching, T. Sam and all these young guys, what's going to, at the next, life, how to handle adversity whenever, something comes up and you're like, man, I don't know whether I can handle this. But you know what? You're going to be a lot stronger. You're a lot stronger than you think you are.
I can tell you, and this is the truth, that the things that we went through with Coach Bob Mahfouz, physically and mentally. I mean, there's been thousands of times during my life where I'm like, I don't know if I can get through this, and I'm like, well, I went through him,
That's right.
So I mean, I survived Coach Mahfouz. So I mean, you go back, and we actually talked about that today. Talked about growing as a person and getting better every day at practice, and then in other aspects of your life as well.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on the show tonight, and we're we're ready for Friday night, and we're going to come back and we're going to make it 5-1 after a big victory over Oakdale on Friday night. We're going to come right back with Doug's going to be back on in a minute with Coach Perkins as we wrap up tonight's show. You're watching Menard Eagles Football on 446 Sports.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight? We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Lori even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
And we're back to Brocato's, our final segment of the evening here. Big shout out to the folks here at Brocato's Breakfast and Lunch and catering. Don't forget about that as well. And 3 Potato More. If you're looking for lunch, or they can wrap up just about anything that you need any day of the week too. That's you come by and see them. I know it's such a tight knit group and family between all of it, but it's some good grub.
I'm here 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh, my.
Almost every week. I mean,
Wednesday, definitely.
Absolutely. You know, Wednesday, Thursdays are the good day, but I'll come any of those days. But, you know, it's just right down the street. So, you know, here and then to practice.
Look, I'm gonna share this with you, and I don't share a lot of my faux pas, I guess, if you will, or my dug-ups, let's just say. So this is week 6. And this is the first time I actually went down Versailles and came this way. The other 2 times, I'd come right down here by the shed by the school, and I'd be like, as soon as I'm getting there, I was like, God dog it, and I'd have to turn and go all the way down and come back. So after week 6, I'm finally made it the right direction.
Yeah. And you know, I just come down and come in through the back way and just kind of go in that way. So
I didn't know about
incognito.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to figure that out. So who do we have here? You got another special guest.
Yeah, this is my special guest. This is Carson. This is one of my grandkids.
Hey, Carson.
And one of the unique things about him is his last name is Menard. So his name is Carson Menard.
Well, absolutely,
so it's pretty
it
incredible.
Is. So you get to wear shirts that have your name on it all the time, huh?
Yes, everybody in shirt. So, yep, say go Eagles.
There you go. Look, that's good. So what, he's about 3, 4 years old?
4 years old. He just started pre-K this year, so he's in the classroom, and they live on False River in New Roads, so he's a kind of a country boy.
Well, it's homecoming, so it's great to have him here for that. Coach, we've talked a lot about the past of it. You've got a tough Oakdale team coming in, homecoming focus. You got to get all of that. What do you see as your approach to this Oakdale game?
Well, you know, obviously first is the distractions this week, but we've been pretty good with it. You know, we haven't missed any practice time or anything like that. So most is just getting them focused. You know, Oakdale's going to come in here. It's the first district game. You know, they're going to preach to their guys what's happened in the past is done. Now we're playing for the district, and so this is the first game, and I know they want to get on top and get that first win, and just like we do. The last 2 years we've played them, it's been both really tough games, and that's what we're expecting from them, and they're very fast. And, you know, we're expecting a good game.
Look, health-wise, everybody's good to go this week. Okay. I know numbers are limited as it is, but how in this week you approach practice of letting them know that the next one is here, and that, you know, that in the past, whether it's a good win or a bad loss, it's behind you, and you have to move ahead and focus for Oakdale.
Absolutely. What's happened has already happened. You know, we've had good fortune. We're 4-1, but, you know, we want to be 5-1 after Friday. And so that just does not come easily. I told the guys the other night after one of the wins, I go, high school football games are hard to win.
That's right.
It doesn't matter who you are, how good you are, or whatever it may be, they are hard to win. So every time we get one of those, it's special.
And when you're 4-1 coming into the season, you know, you can hear all the time, well, throw the records out there, say, people are gunning for you at 4-1 because it does a lot of things. One, it's the number 1 game in the district. You get started on there, and it's hard to go undefeated in district if you don't win game 1 on there. So you guys look like they're ready to keep the main thing the main thing. I know practice, how did it go Tuesday? Tuesday's always been a good one for you guys.
Tuesday is our tough practice. It's our long practice. It went really, really well. We went a little bit extra today on Wednesday, so we just want to make sure we got all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed, and I think we've done that, and we'll do a little bit more tomorrow to prepare, and then I think we'll be ready.
Well, congratulations to our honorees tonight. Of course, thank you to Brocato's. Thank you to 3 Potato More for everything that they've done. Thank you to Carson for joining us on here, too. Clayton? Carson.
Carson.
Okay, I got it.
Got it right.
I've got a lot of at first, and I doubted myself.
And
on
Mama
there.
P out there too. Shout out to her.
As always, that's correct. Look, she's the one that brought the helmet in too. So always working. That's the life. There's no doubt about it. Of course, all of the sponsors that are supporters of Menard Football and helped us to be able to bring it to you. They told us that they were watching from New York on the student council interview.
Yep, they're all over the place.
So that was great. They don't watch us from it. They're watching these kids, and That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That's the reason that we do all of it. Robert and John will go on the air at 6:30 Friday night for the pregame. I know they go down on the field and talk to Coach David Perkins before that. So what do you tell the folks, Robert, about Friday night?
As far as us, we're just excited for a home, big home crowd. There's going to be a big crowd. There's going to be a lot of people there.
Yep.
Like you were talking about, Oakdale's, they're hungry. They're going to want to come in and knock the team off that's 4-1. So they're going to give us everything they got.
Absolutely. And a lot of alums coming in. So they're all going to have their stories from whenever they played football,
right.
And so we want to put on a good performance for those guys and just give them their good memories. And, they can say, hey, we used to do that, So.
Well, there you have it. I know the tailgating is going to be getting started. They might start that tomorrow and not wait till the parade's tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So there you go. Come out and see the parade. As always, we tell you, don't watch our broadcast. Get your tails out to the stadium and watch the games. These football players, the band, dance, cheer, all of those that are involved in bringing this night to you, come out here and pay them off and support these groups. If you're sitting at home and you're saying there's nothing to do around here, get your tail out to a Friday night light somewhere around you. You can go back and watch this later. We'll have it saved for you. Don't forget about that. Coach, as always, thank you for joining us on here and opening up the Menard Eagle family. Buddy, we appreciate you coming. Look, look, here you go. Pow! There you go. Robert Anderson joins us. Big shout out to Nick Morrow, who's doing the production.